Thank you everyone for joining today. We have with us Eric Arnum, who's been in the industry for a long time, has run the Warranty Week for over 15 years. Today we're going to be focusing on a lot of data, talking about an industry update from a warranty and service contract perspective. Tavant as a company continues to focus a lot on the warranty side, and our renewed focus at this point is on analytics and machine learning and how to apply machine learning and AI in the warranty and aftermarket space. A lot of what you're going to see today is going to be about the industry. There will be a few polls. Please participate in it. And as a follow-up to this, we will be sharing the presentation where we will also request suggestions on topics for a panel discussion that we plan to run in the third quarter. The panel discussion will have some of our customers discussing specific topics of interest in the industry. So please participate in that survey and give us your feedback. Our focus as a company and from a thought leadership standpoint is to provide a lot more value add through the course of this year and years to come. And this is the first of many webinars that we will be organizing. So again, thank you for joining. And with that, I will hand it over to Eric Arnum. Most of you know Eric as part of the whole Warranty Week ecosystem. If you haven't registered for the Warranty Week as part of the membership we have, it is free. There is a lot of benefit joining that newsletter. We've seen that within Tavant. So please register and subscribe to the Warranty Week. With that, I'll hand it over to Eric, and hopefully this is as useful a session to you as it has been for us.
Thank you very much, Roshan, and good morning, everybody. As Roshan said, my name is Eric Arnum. I'm the editor of Warranty Week. I'm based in New York City, where it's partly cloudy and very nice right now. I have pretty thick windows in my office because I have them closed. There's a jackhammer outside. I apologize in advance if you hear any noise in the background, but that's what happens when you work in New York City. There's never a quiet moment. Let's go to the first slide, and I want to show you some very high-level statistics on the U.S.-based warranty industry. This is for companies based in the United States, but it's their warranty spending worldwide. I also have some data on international companies in Europe, Asia, and elsewhere, but I'm not including them here. This is just the companies based in the U.S. reporting to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, and I'm taking all of this data from their annual reports. So it's not estimates at all. It's very much hard data. 4 essential warranty metrics are collected from these annual reports. The first one is the amount of claims paid. This is the amount paid to dealers and repair shops and to customers themselves, or to retailers, or anybody else who is either doing warranty work or replacing defective products or anything like that. Last year, manufacturers spent $24.7 billion. That was down around 6.7% from 2016 levels. Now, warranty accruals. This is the amount of money that manufacturers set aside when they make a product. They use some sophisticated warranty analytics to figure out what is the expected cost of these warranties, and that's how much money they set aside at that time. The claims are what they actually spend, but the accruals are what they think they will spend. So they're not always the same because, people are either a little bit high, a little bit low, or, and they have to, make it up in corrections later on. But in 2017, US-based manufacturers set aside $23.6 billion in warranty accruals, and that was down around 3.7% from 2016 levels. Another warranty metric, an important warranty metric to follow, is the balance in the warranty reserve. If you think of this like a checking account, for instance, in a bank, you would think of the claims paid as the withdrawals or the checks that are paid. You would think of the accruals as sort of the deposits, the paychecks, if you will, the direct deposit, whatever you want to call it. The warranty reserves is simply the balance. After all of these claims are taken out and accruals are put in, the reserves at the end of the year, this is December 31st, 2017, the balance in all of these warranty reserves, and this is for, oh boy, it has to be about, well, there's hundreds, 600 or so, 700 companies that are reporting warranty. So in those hundreds of companies, the total balance in all of their warranty reserves put together was $43.0 billion. That was down around 1.3% from the end of 2016. And then there's one metric that's not exactly a warranty metric, but we do make use of it, and I'll show you that in a little while. Product sales, warranted product sales. How many products are sold with a warranty? Because to figure out what these warranties are costing, you have to be able to figure it out as a percentage of revenue. The amount of warranted product sales in 2017, I figure, was $1.81 trillion. That was down also around 6.7%, same decline as claims. Now, if you notice, I said all four of these metrics declined in 2017. Let's go to the next slide, and I'll show you some of the record that I've tabulated for the past 15 years for these metrics. Call this, if you will, the warranty dashboard. It just gives you a simple view of what's going on with these metrics. The first thing that is very noticeable is the notch that's taken out of the data in 2008, 2009. Some of it goes into 2010, even 2011. Of course, that's the recession. And of course, I don't have to, repeat what happened during the Great Recession, but when warranted product sales fell, as you see in the blue, there were less warranties being issued. Therefore, there were less accruals being made. There were less products to fix, so claims went down. There was less need to have the money, so the reserves went down. But as you see, in the years since, many of these metrics have recovered. Only products sold and reserves held, however, have surpassed their 2007 peak. What you see with both claims and accruals is that, well, more so for claims than accruals, is that although it did start to go up again, it's now going down again. That does not mean there's a recession coming. I think what that means is that the products are better, they're failing less often, they cost less to repair or replace, they're lasting longer. So in a way, these declines are good news for the industry, in that the product sales continue to go up, or at least stay at a high level, while the expenses continue to go down. And that's the subject of the next slide, if we could. As I mentioned, once you take the claims paid and the accruals made and divide them by the products sold, you can figure out the claims rate as a percentage of sales and the accrual rate as a percentage of sales. I do this on a quarterly basis. And as you can see, back in 2003, when I started doing this, we were around 1.8%. which means that 1.8% of the revenue that these companies made from selling products that had warranties was going towards paying the expenses of those warranties. And that declined, well, not in a straight line, but it declined for 10 years till 2012. The big exception, you see that in 2009. You see the red line going up quite high. Actually, the highest it had ever been was in the second quarter of 2009. Nothing to worry about. It was no crisis in manufacturing. The problem was that product sales, the bottom fell out of product sales. Nobody was buying cars, nobody was buying houses, appliances, computers, forget it. You know, nobody was buying, well, I can't say nobody, but much fewer people were buying these products. So therefore, when you did the division, you know, claims divided by sales, and sales was incredibly small, that's what happened. You know, you see a spike in the data. It didn't happen with accruals because, as I was saying, the accruals are what you think is going to happen. So if you don't sell a product, you don't have to repair it. So you would not make any warranty accruals. You would not set any money aside for a product you never sold. So you see the warranty accruals remained at a low level in 2009 because you sell less products, you make less accruals. So there's, you know, nothing surprising about that. But what is surprising is that something happened in 2012, or something changed, and I still don't have an answer for you as to what changed, but you can see that the trend changed. It's not that warranty expenses started increasing again, but they started increasing, then decreasing, then increasing, then decreasing. They stopped declining like they had for 10 years. And it just seems like noise in the data or something like that. You know, it goes up, it goes down. The past 5 years have really been trendless. It's as if we hit bottom and I don't know, forgot how to improve the process, or I don't know what analogy to use, but you know, you squeeze the sponge and finally, you know, you can't squeeze the sponge anymore. I'm not sure what's happened. I still, after 5 years, I still don't have a good explanation for you. But that's one of the things that we want to check on is we have a poll, and we want to find out from you folks who are you know, listening in on this webinar what you think are the major drivers. What, according to you, are the main factors for driving down warranty costs? Please select the ones that you think are you know, the major causes of this. And you know, maybe if we can understand what was driving down warranty costs for 10 years, we can figure out what ended that trend, or what reversed that trend. I'm not sure what's happened yet. We have 4 selections for you, and actually, you know, we can, if there's something on the list, if there's something that you think is a warranty cost driver that's not on the list, please open the button for chat on the right side of your screen and type it in there. But the 4 that we've selected for you are reduced failures, telematics data, remote monitoring, warranty automation, the automation of, you know, the paperwork and, you know, going from faxes to computerization, better reporting, and better analytics. And if you think that there's something else that belongs on this list, you know, as I said, please send it to us in the chat window on the right side. So let's move on to the next slide. I want to give you some detail as to the industry that all of these warranty claims are coming from. I divide the, I think it's 18 different industries that are generating warranty expenses. I divide them into 3 groups. First group is vehicles, second group is electronics, and the third group, I don't know, I don't have a good name for it, but you know, the building trades, I don't know, you know, if anybody has a good suggestion for me, please send it my way, either in the chat window or, you know, by email after we're done here today. What we're looking at here is the vehicles. I've divided this into 4 groups. The cars and small vehicles generated around $7 billion in claims last year. That, of course, was down from 2016. Actually, it's the lowest it's been in 5 years, which again is a good thing because, you know, it was a great year for car sales. Trucks and buses, the large vehicles, construction equipment, you know, tractors and farm equipment and heavy equipment, $2.8 billion. The suppliers of auto parts and components, drivetrain, brakes, what have you, tires, batteries, $1.6 billion for auto parts. And then, as somebody reminded me when I was putting this together, that you know, airplanes and helicopters have wheels also, so they definitely are vehicles, although they don't normally travel very far on land. But they do belong on this slide. Commercial aircraft generated around $950 million in claims last year. Let's go to the next slide. This is the electronics slide. We have 7 more industries here, led by computers, you know, large computers, small computers, laptops, as well as mainframes and host computers. They came in last year at around $5.5 billion in warranty claims. Telecommunications equipment. This is for the phone companies, the television stations, the cable TV companies, the internet companies, satellite companies, what have you. Just about $1 billion in warranty claims last year. Next up, we have semiconductors and printed circuit boards. That was about $550 million. Consumer electronics, you can hardly even see it. And I want you to remember that, because when, you know, later on we get to the extended warranty statistics that I'm going to show to you, I want you to remember that the consumer, at least the US-based consumer electronics industry, generated hardly any warranty claims last year. I mean, you can barely see the slice in that chart. Medical and scientific equipment, on the other hand, $600 million. And the data storage and peripheral companies, each one around $300 million. Let's go on to the next slide. This is the one I was talking about. I call it building trades. I don't know, there must be a better name for this, but this is a group of industries in the next slide that are focused on the home, the building, what have you. Starting with, at the bottom there, appliances and heating, ventilation, air conditioning, $1.5 billion in warranty claims last year. The actual home builders, the companies putting up the homes, around $600 million. Building materials, these are kind of the suppliers to the home builders, doing everything from, you know, cabinets and shingles for the roof, windows, flooring, fixtures, faucets, electrical equipment, $763 billion for the building materials. And then power generation. Now, this is not just for the home. This is for the turbines, and this is the windmills and the the gas-fired electrical plants and things like this. So this is really a commercial area led by companies like General Electric, for instance. That was $920 million last year. And then some of the smaller and newer categories that I've developed, material handling, security equipment, and sports equipment. And the sports equipment is kind of an all-purpose other category, if you will. There's some strange things in that category. Work boots for construction workers, they have warranties. Jewelry has warranties. Of course, bats and helmets and even golf clubs have warranties. So there's a lot of different things in that one category of sports. But as you can see, I mean, there's not a whole lot of claims generated by that. Let's go on to the next slide. We're going to look at some of the worldwide industries. I've been showing you U.S. only statistics. There's a couple of industries where it's possible to look at the worldwide warranty expenses. And the reason that we can do that is plain and simple. These companies are actually revealing their warranty expenses to the world. They're including them in their annual reports. Now they're in different currencies. I mean, for instance, Toyota and Honda report in Japanese yen, and Fiat reports in euro. VW is in euro. Daimler, BMW are using euro. SAIC, actually, I have to go back, but I think it's a Chinese company, but they're reporting in dollars. PSA is European. Nissan, Japanese. Hyundai is reporting in Korean won. And then there are a bunch of other companies, too numerous to mention. But the total for 2016 is $47.7 billion spent on warranties by these car companies, car and SUV and light truck companies. That's the worldwide cost of warranty in the passenger car and light truck industry. And yes, that includes Russia and India and China and Brazil and Australia, as well as the United States, Canada, Mexico, what have you. These are the top manufacturers. And one other thing I should mention is that Toyota, Honda, Tata, and Nissan are on fiscal years that end on March 31st. So they're a little bit out of sync with the others who are ending their fiscal years on December 31st. But I adjust the data to compensate for that. The Fiat data, at least for 2016, includes Chrysler. And actually the proper name of the company is FCA, to acknowledge that it includes both Fiat and Chrysler automobiles. What else can I tell you about here? Daimler, of course, they have some trucks. BMW has some motorcycles. Honda has some motorcycles, as well as generators. I should mention to you VW, Volkswagen, the German automaker. They accounted for 21.4% of the warranty claims in 2016, and there's a really good reason for that. I'm sure everybody has heard, the news about the diesel emissions scandal that they went through, and they've chosen to pay for that through warranty. So as they pay for replacing cars or fixing engines or whatever they have to do, they're accounting for it as a warranty claim. And so that's why Volkswagen is not the world's largest car manufacturer, but Volkswagen is the world's largest warranty provider. And that's an unfortunate title for them because, it does come to them through scandal. it's almost twice as much as Toyota.
So Eric, we have a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
Yes, sure. Let's see. How do I get to the questions?
We can read them out to you. So let's see. So
okay.
First question we had is if what we're presenting, is that just extended service contracts, or does it include the manufacturer's warranty expenditure?
It is manufacturer's product warranty only. I haven't yet gotten to extended warranty. I'll get to that in a couple of slides. 1, 2, 3, 3 and 4 more slides. So this is manufacturer's factory warranty only. So this is the initial year, 2, 3. In some cases, like Kia and Hyundai, it's 5, 7, 10 years. But this is the manufacturer's product warranty. We have another question?
Yes, the other question was, do you know what the time frame of the warranty period is for each? One question that can lead in the downslide of warranty is whether or not the warranty period is less.
Yeah, I see what they're saying. When you compare something like a computer warranty, normally computer warranties are 1 year. And you compare that to, let's say, an HVAC warranty, which would typically be, 5 years, maybe even 10 years in some cases. There will be a mismatch between claims and accruals, because when you sell the product, you're setting aside what you predict to be the cost of warranty, whether it is over 1 year or 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. While the claims are what you actually end up paying. And of course, with products that have very long warranties, the claims will continue, every year of that warranty. And if it's a mechanical item like a car, air conditioner, heating system, or something like that, the more it runs, the more likely it is to break. So you do see, increasing claims going out into the future, while with something like a digital camera or a laptop or a piece of consumer electronics or something like that, typically most of the breakdowns will happen right at the outset, as you open the box. And if you open the box and the product works, chances are it will continue to work for a very long time. So the characteristics of claims emergence are very different, not only based on the length of the warranty, but based on the product under review. I don't know what else I can say. The person who asked that question, maybe we can chat by phone or by email or something like that, and I can find out more about what they needed to know. But yes, very definitely the characteristics of warranty expense change based on the product line and based on the length of the warranty.
Thank you, Eric. I think we'll take more questions a little later. Please.
Okay. So as I said, we're looking here at automakers worldwide, $47.7 billion spent in 2016. The data is starting to, well, most of the data is in for 2017, but the problem is that some of these companies don't put out their annual reports until May, or even in the case of Toyota and Honda, late June. So I don't want to, make any guesses as to what the 2017 chart will look like until I have the data in hand, because what you're looking at here, in most of the cases, except for PSA and Nissan, and some of the companies included in the other category, those are estimates, but everything else is hard data. So, within a month, maybe 6 weeks or so, probably by the beginning of July, I should have the 2017 pie chart in hand. But as I said, I don't want to make any predictions about Will it be larger? Will it be smaller? Will VW be higher, smaller? Let's leave it to the future. I don't want to guess. Let's move on to the next slide. It's another industry, construction equipment. Again, this is looking worldwide. And once again, this is based mostly on hard data. There's a few estimates in this chart, but most of this is really based on hard data. Worldwide, about $2 billion spent on warranties in 2016. A little bit more than a quarter of that came from Caterpillar, the American company. Komatsu, the Japanese company, is next. John Deere, another American company, is third. Volvo, a Swedish company. Liebherr, a European company. XCMG is Chinese. CNH. Technically, it's an American company based in Europe, formerly owned by Fiat, but the initials stand for Case New Holland, and New Holland is in Pennsylvania. But anyway, I mean, they're a very large construction equipment vendor. Terex, another American company. Sany, that's not a typo, S-A-N-Y, is an Asian company. JCB is a English company. And then there are a couple of dozen other companies that are included in the slice here, identified as other. And as I said, their total in 2016 was just over $2 billion spent on warranty. Let's go to the next slide. We're looking at civilian aircraft. I should mention that it's very important to remember this is civilian aircraft, not military aircraft. Some military aircraft do have warranties, but it's a completely different species as to the way it's paid for. It's really the customer ends up paying for the warranty, and it's very different. So I make a very bright line distinction between civilian aircraft and military aircraft. And in the case of each of these companies, I exclude their military sales and count only their civilian aircraft expenses. Boeing is the leader. It's worldwide, it's about $1.09 billion spent again in 2016. Bombardier, that's a Canadian company. I will admit there's not only aircraft in Bombardier, but also trains. But it's impossible for people like external observers to figure out how much is planes and how much is trains. They do not. They just reveal their warranty expense, their total warranty expenses. They do not differentiate by product line, by division, or anything like that. So we have to take it all. Dassault is a French manufacturer. Gulfstream is a U.S. based. They're part of General Dynamics, which is a very important military contractor. Airbus. Now this is strange. I'll point this out to you. I don't have a clear answer to the question I'm about to pose, but why is Airbus only 1/4 the size of Boeing when it comes to warranty claims, even though they are comparable when it comes to product sales? I don't have an answer for that, but these are the numbers that the companies themselves announced. So it's a paradox. It's an unanswered question. I really don't have an answer for you, but I'll point out to you that the math is correct. I just don't have a good explanation for you. Textron, there's some aircraft. Well, there's some planes in there, private general aviation planes, also helicopters. Avic is a Chinese manufacturer. Embraer is Brazilian. UAC is the Russian conglomerate. that makes not only their military jets but also their civilian aircraft. And ATR is another European manufacturer. And then there's about a dozen companies included in the other category. But as you can see, their share of the warranty expenses adds up only to about 5.9% of the worldwide total. Let's do another poll. Let's go to that question. It's about supplier recovery. We want to get the folks that are listening into the webinar to answer this question. Is supplier recovery, is the supplier recovery process for your organization done manually? Is it automated? Or is it done by contract, contractual terms? And please select all that apply. We have manual, automated, contractual. And again, if it's not on the list, it's something other, please click that other button and tell us with the chat button on the right what that other category might be. We'll give people a couple of seconds to make their selections, and then we'll move on to extended warranty. We had a question earlier about, is this manufacturer's warranty or extended warranty? Well, everything before now has been manufacturer's warranty. And after we finish this poll, we're going to turn to extended warranty. So, okay, let's move on to a couple of quick slides about extended warranty. If we could see the next slide, please. This is for the past 9 years. Again, it's the U.S. market. It's actually the consumer market for extended warranties. So these are the extended warranties that are bought by consumers, sold by a variety of companies. I'll go through that list in a second. But as you can see, the sector with the leading share is VSC. That stands for Vehicle Service Contract. That's the extended warranties for cars, SUVs, and light trucks, and other consumer vehicles. $16.7 billion spent by consumers on these policies last year. Next is the mobile phone insurance. This is primarily, I should mention the vehicle service contracts are sold primarily by the dealers of the vehicles. Although some are sold direct, most are sold by the dealers. The mobile phone insurance, sold mainly by the phone companies themselves, Verizon and Sprint and T-Mobile. $8.6 billion spent on mobile phone insurance. And the reason we call it insurance is because it includes coverage for things like loss, theft, just forgetting where it is, as well as dropping or damaging, particularly in water, or, hitting the floor and breaking the screen and things like that. When you get into that, warranties and extended warranties usually cover defects and malfunctions, but insurance covers accidents and loss and theft and breakage, things like that. But these are not caused by the design of the product or the manufacturing of the product. They're caused by the forgetfulness or the clumsiness of the policyholder. So that's why we call it insurance. Consumer electronics, retail ESCs, extended service contracts, is what that is. As I mentioned before, in terms of warranty, there's not much warranty expense in the consumer electronics industry, at least the US-based consumer electronics industry. And I can tell you that the Japanese manufacturers, the leading Japanese manufacturers, some of them do report their warranty expenses, and they are not very much. You're talking about a very low percentage of their revenue being spent on warranty claims. However, the retailers have made a big deal out of selling extended warranties on things like televisions, audio and video equipment, and home theater, and other consumer electronics items. It's a $6.6 billion industry in 2017. So when you read some of the consumer magazines, or you hear on television or whatever in the newspaper, where people are saying that extended warranties are not worth it, what they're really saying is that the emphasis on the sale of extended warranties by the consumer electronics retailers does not match the vulnerability of that equipment to breakage. However, if you recall from the earlier slide that I showed about home appliances, HVAC systems, computers, and some other products, they definitely do generate a lot of warranty claims. They are definitely vulnerable products. So what I would suggest to the folks that are listening is that maybe take their advice when it comes to televisions and don't buy the extended warranty. But when it comes to the laptop, or when it comes to the washing machine, or when it comes to the refrigerator or the heating system, the furnace, take the extended warranty, because it really does cover, it's very likely to be used, while the consumer electronics warranty maybe is not so important. Next on this list, you see computers, computer OEMs, extended service contracts. That's a $4.3 billion industry. That's where Dell and HP, Acer, Lenovo, you name it, they all sell extended warranties for their products. And I think, they're very much closer to break even on those warranties than the folks that are covering televisions and amplifiers and things like that. Next on the list is jewelry. $3.2 billion spent on jewelry warranties, extended warranties in 2017. Home warranties in green, $2.5 billion spent on home warranties and appliance warranties. These are the extended warranties sold by Home Depot, Sears, Lowe's, and other dealers, distributors, retailers of washing machines, refrigerators, and things like that. $1.6 billion in 2017. And once again, as I mentioned, it's much closer to break even than it is for the consumer electronics. And then finally, furniture. Furniture extended warranties, not so much, well, I mean, they cover things like stains, or in the case of leather, that the flaking and peeling and things like that, rips, tears, anything that might happen to the furniture. That's a $1.1 billion industry in 2017. But the other thing that I wanted to point out to you is that many of these categories contracted slightly in 2017, because 2016 was a record year in every way. The products, many of the products scored, new records as far as how many were sold and how much money they brought in, as did the extended warranties. So it's down a bit, but I'd hardly call it a decline. It just seems like there was a peak in 2016 and we're down a little bit since then. And then my last slide, if we could go to that, is just a simple pie chart that shows you where the total. I should have mentioned the total of all in 2017. All of these categories was $44.6 billion spent by U.S. consumers on extended warranties. And out of the pie, vehicles was 37%, the phones were 19%, consumer electronics 15%, PCs 10%, jewelry 7%, and then down from there with home warranties, appliances, and furniture. And I think we have a couple of minutes for questions or comments or things like that. If we could go to the next slide, I have some contact information for myself. Please copy this down. As Roshan said, Tavant is going to make copies of these slides available to all of you. So you'll be contacted about that and how to get them. But if there are any questions about the content, or if you don't understand how one thing relates to another, or what exactly does this mean, give me a phone call, send me an email, write me a letter, whatever you need to do. I want to thank Tavant not only for putting together this webinar, but I want to thank them for multiple years of sponsorship of Warranty Week, because it's companies like them that are sponsoring Warranty Week that make it available to all of you at no charge. So if you're not already subscribing to Warranty Week, I welcome you to do so. Go to the website there, www.warrantyweek.com, and follow the link for subscribe, and we'll get you out the next newsletter on Thursday night. So thank you all for your attention, and I await your questions or comments.
So Eric, I think we have one more question I'm seeing right now. This is, how do you think machine learning can overcome some of the challenges in the warranty and service contract industry?
Wow, machine learning. Well, I think much of the benefit is going to come from better analytics, better predictive analytics as to predicting what will happen. Also, I think it will help warranty clerks and warranty managers do a better job of spotting potentially fraudulent claims, or I think the euphemism is questionable claims. But something doesn't look right about this, and you can check it in a dozen different ways. You can look for what's normal and what's excessive. You can do it geographically, by product, by you could even do it by day of the week or state, or what have you. You can do a whole lot of analysis, and rather than having to do it in your head as you would in a manual process, you can do it automatically. Also, I mean, there's a great skill that some warranty managers have in predicting how much money do we need for warranties, predicting how much money to accrue for the products that we're selling, to make sure that we have enough to pay the claims in the future, figuring out whether the warranty reserve balance that we have now, is it enough? Is it too much? Is it just right? And then, of course, in things like just looking at failure rates, and figuring out what is the failure rate, and then taking it to the next level and figuring out why are these products failing, and maybe there's something that we can do in the future to reduce the number of failures that leave the factory. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot that can be done with machine learning, and we're really only beginning to explore the possibilities.
I think there was one last question that I see. Eric, you can maybe just quickly explain the difference between accruals and reserves.
Okay, sure. As I mentioned earlier, I think it's best to think of it like a checking account. You have a checking account, and at the end of the month, you get your statements. You get a list of all of the additions and a list of all the subtractions. You get a beginning balance and you get an ending balance. Think of warranty that way. The warranty reserve, that's the account. And when I give you the warranty reserve balance of what was it, $43 billion, that's the ending balance in the accounts of all of these companies, all of these manufacturers. Warranty accruals, that's the amount of deposits being made by these manufacturers. The amount of money they're putting aside at the time a product is sold based on their own internal analytics and their own predictions as to how much will these warranties end up costing. So when you make a car and that car is sold by a dealer, you predict that the warranty will cost $500. So every time you sell a car, you put $500 in warranty accruals into the account. If you sell 10 cars, then the balance would be $5,000. If you sell, 10,000 cars, the balance would be, oh boy, I better not do the math in my head. But, you get the idea. If it's $500 per unit, then it's how many units did we sell times 500? That's the balance. That's the warranty reserves. The amount of deposits is the warranty accruals. Now, the thing about cars in particular, there would be warranties of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, maybe even longer. So if you predict that the warranty is going to cost you $500, it's not going to be spent immediately. It might not even be spent in the first year. It might be spent in the second and third years, or maybe half of it in the second year and half of it in the third year, or maybe a third of it in the second year, a third of it in the fourth year, etc. When you total up all of those bills, all of those payments, that's your warranty claims. So not all of the claims for any given warranty may be in the same year as the product was made or the product was sold. So you have a bunch of deposits. Well, you have an initial deposit when the product is made and sold, and then you have a variety of withdrawals as the warranty claims are paid over the course of the next year or multiple years. But at any time you can take a balance, and that would be the warranty reserves. So think of it that way, that the claims are the subtractions, the accruals are the deposits, and the reserves are the figures for the balance in the account at any particular time.
I think that's the set of questions we have for today. Thank you again, Eric, for taking the time. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Please feel free to reach out to either Eric or anyone here at Tavant if you have any more questions. And like we mentioned before, we'll be sending out the presentation with a quick survey of topics we would like to focus on in a customer-driven panel discussion. Thank you again, and have a nice day.